Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Aaron and Gio. How are we today? I'm doing well. It's pretty early in the morning, it's just before 9 o'clock. Just want to talk through what happened yesterday, what might happen today, and some other little anecdotal stories which may be fun. So yesterday was a bit of a boring day, low risk, low return. I've done some arrows. If you're not looking at the screen, you can just look at it now quickly. Basically, the arrows show where we got into a trade. I said on Skype, okay, I'm taking a trade, and you said nice. It was like 18:24, I think, 6:24 p.m. And I did this because I saw the dollar shooting up, and also there was no risk really because it had been bouncing along the bottom. Of course, there's actual risk, but it's very, very, very small. A risk of a blow up is zero. The risk of substantial loss is zero. In terms of what's the worst that could have happened yesterday, I could have taken a 1 tick, 2 tick loss, or held overnight. So yesterday I small balled it because the market had been fucking around all day, as you'd seen, like false start, false start, false start. So we took 0.3 points out of the VIX, although we didn't make that much because I needed to do the numbers, but I did come in a lot smaller, maybe 2/3 of the size, something like that. So you can see we come in here, ran against me 2 ticks, but I was pretty comfortable with that because during the whole day it just wasn't going any lower, and this is yesterday the future rolled over, so this was going to get a lot more stable. So we got in here. This chart looks extreme, doesn't it? But there's only half a point between between here and here. It's nothing. And then I said, "Are you there? Are you there? Are you there?" Somewhere around like here. And then we just ran it right up to the close. I think kind of there, whatever. And it was just like that. Buy low, sell high. I don't know why everyone doesn't do that. Once said that to another trader. Well, hey man, why don't you buy the VIX? And he was like, well, why? I was like, because there's no risk. He's like, yeah, but just trade the S&P like I do. I was like, well, isn't there like lots of risk? He's like, well, yeah, but just trade it. I was like, well, just trade something with no downside risk, all upside. He's like, nah, why would you? Buy some penny stocks then. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. People just don't like challenging the status quo. I think if you went to college and you did some finance degree and you decided to become some kind of bonds trader or something, not that a lot of traders go to college and do that shit. Usually people who are good traders don't go to college, I think, from what I've seen. They're street fighters. Not as in fight in the street, but their business acumen is learnt on the streets. Anyway, I'm showing you this next chart here. If you're not looking, please look as to why I like the VIX. I'm hating this chart. It's so long. Here you can see at the hard right edge here. That's where we are. Very, very low volatility. But what follows low volatility is high volatility. As sure as night follows day, and day follows night. Low volatility is met by high volatility, and vice versa. Now, I actually saw this coming. This went up to like 60, I think, on the futures. And I was in it, thankfully. But I got out like mega early because I didn't realize how sharp that move was going to be. And at some point, we are going to be in another move like that, and I will be there. This moved like 40 points in a day. Now, if we have 5% of the bankroll on, because I see this coming, or 10% of the bankroll, 10 times 40, that's kind of a lot. Or even 5 times 40. It's going to be a good day. So hopefully we'll have built the bankroll up a bit more by the time that comes. And you can also, on the converse side, see why selling the VIX from a low level, if you aren't here and to pay attention to what's going on, is kind of dodgy, because this could really fucking hurt you. So when you're selling, you're always very, very conservative, especially at a low level. Like once it got down here, you could have sold it and done extremely well. So there's going to be some geopolitical event or some exogenous shock to some fucking economy, and that will pick things up. I reckon I'm going to have to change the trading strategy and just trade more aggressively and scalp 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 out the market for the next few months every day. It's not really what I've been doing. I don't know if I've said this already, but otherwise, if we keep waiting to make the nice big clean moves, I think we're not going to make a lot. So I have to take a low risk, low reward approach. Not that there's a lot of risk in what I do anyway, but this is very low risk, very low reward, making like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Instead of making 1% a day, you've got to take into account maybe make like 1.5%, 2% a week. So a little bit of a change I decided to make last week because it's just was stalling. So we have to small ball it, unfortunately. I have to put on smaller bets, if you want to put it that way, and yeah, just take little small chunks out the market rather than looking for the big chunks. They come, and I'm here. But at the moment, when there's like extremely low volatility and there's no pickup, we'll just make a little bit every day. Hopefully, you can see yesterday how hard I had to work to make that like 0.3 on the thing, and because I small balled it, we didn't even make 0.3. Like as I said, I think maybe we made like 0.2 plus the rebate, so something similar to the day before. I have to have a look in a bit. So some other things. I got rid of that new girlfriend of mine. I don't like people that drink a lot of alcohol. They piss me off. And also I don't really have anything to give anyone at the moment. You can see how much time this takes out of my life. And I really enjoy it, but I just don't have anything to give anyone else. So I don't want to be a dickhead and take someone on that makes or be with someone, and then kind of ignore them because I'm working really hard. I don't even call it work. I'm doing my hobby really hard, and I just don't have the time. Maybe in a couple of years, 3 years, when we've got to where we want to be, I'll have more time. But I don't really want to be with anyone either. I just don't feel like I want the irritation, to be honest. I have no patience. So I just maybe think I'm not that ready anyway. But you can see how intense this is, and when I look back with a lot more self-awareness, I sort of laugh to myself and I think no wonder my girlfriend left me, because I think women need a lot more emotional interaction than men do, generally speaking. And when I'm here and doing this, I'm not here. I'm doing this, and this is where I'm living, like in my computer. It's like I become part of the market in a way. I get like, it's almost like the market has a rhythm, and you have to really be there to get into the rhythm, and that's why I get really irritable and funky. Like people come visit me and phone rings or something, because it breaks my rhythm. And I think I said in one of the videos, I'm like a Stradivarius. I play very nicely until something happens, and then I'm a little off key, and it takes me a while to get back. Depending on the size of the shock. I'll tell you a little anecdote. I was reading this trading book, and this guy was like a superstar trader for this firm. Made money every single day, didn't lose money for years. And then all of a sudden, like he was trading stocks, right? All of a sudden he lost money every day for 2 weeks. His boss came to me and said, "What the fuck's going on?" He's like, "I don't know. So I can't make any money." And so he said to him, "What's going on in your life? Any weddings, funerals, birthdays?" He's like, "Oh yeah, my daughter was born a couple of weeks ago." And that's pretty typical of traders. You know, they really can't be disturbed mentally. Not like mentally disturbed, but to have funky things going on in their life. Especially me, I hate funky things. You know, I wear I got 7 shirts, and they're all the same color. They're same 4 pairs of jeans, all the same color, same style. I hate change, and I just like things to be calm. I don't like any kind of stress in my life. And I think unexpected things cause stress. So I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. But yeah, so I feel the market. Sometimes this is, I guess, when I know I can feel something coming. And it's like, it literally is a feeling. I mean, you're taking in a lot of data, and it is a gut feel. And what's gut feel? It's all the things you know and you see, and you to create a sort of decision or a feeling. And I guess, have you ever seen one of those pictures that are made up of like millions of little other pictures? That's sometimes how I see trades developing. Is like, it's a picture. Imagine those tiny little pictures, kind of in a sci-fi way, coming together. And there's so many different little parts to it, and then some of them are leaving. So until you can actually see the picture forming with these tiny little pieces of the picture starting to come together at a rate that's faster than they're leaving, because of course certain signals are improving and certain ones are getting worse all the time. And you have to know, like, you know, with Google's secret sauce, which one, how much weighting to put on things. And the weightings change depending on what's going on. It's very hard to articulate how decisions are made. It's not really that binary, because there's so many variables, and the decision points are constantly moving. But once they start to develop, you know, they work. And I think talking to you has actually helped me realize that it's not that straightforward. And also my buddies all losing money. They seem to be able to make the perfect decisions, just the opposite sides. So they should fade themselves, maybe. Anyway, talking of Google, I once sat next to a business executive, ex-Googler, who on the plane, and he started his own pay-per-click agency. He used to work for PokerStars, and he was running their pay-per-click campaign as a consultant. And he said, one thing I remember talking to him about was, what does Google look for in running good accounts? And he said Google care about 3 things: click-through rate, and click-through rate. And that brings me on, or links into what I want to say. I don't really like the word trading, with its lack of better descriptive, non-claimant sure ways of describing things, I think. So I just have to call it trading. But in fact, it's actually risk management. So it's risk management. That's what you are. And if you actually take the time and study risk management, which I have done, you realize that you can do almost random things in the market and make money. There's a little secret there. And if you can find a good strategy and actually know what you're doing, tie that up with strong risk management, and you're not a fucking lunatic, you can make money. Where most people go wrong is they go too big, and then the people are very highly geared and they lose their money. But if you have strong risk management and you understand how the game works, I don't see how you can't make money, genuinely. And I say this to people: you're not making money in the market, right? Why the fuck are you asking me anyway? But let me ask you this question. If I gave you $10,000 and your job was to lose that money, because every time you lost $1, I gave you $1. So that 10 grand's not yours, it's mine. But I want you to lose it. But every time you lose it, for every dollar you lose, I will give you $1. Do you think you could lose money to make money? Does it make sense? So could you lose money as effectively as you do now? Or would you start to make money? And people are like, oh, I don't think I could. I think yes, I definitely think I could lose it. I'm like, okay, go try it on a demo account somewhere. And it's the same. It's just a fucking mindset. It's just a mindset. That's the secret. Buy low, sell high. Sell high, buy low. Don't go too big. You'll be good. Might not make a lot, but you're not going to fucking lose your house. Anyway, I don't know anyone that's lost their house, but you know, I'm sure people have. So I have some other things I wanted to say. So yesterday I said I think I could feel strength at the time. I don't like to use the word feel, but today I see weakness. Yesterday it was a 2097. When I made that video, it went to 2005, pretty like within 2 hours, and then got kind of stuck around that 2100 area, which is normal, because whole numbers, there's a lot of buying and selling going on there, so it's very hard to break away from those areas. So what do I see today? Based upon the little information I have, no Bloomberg to know if there's anything going on, haven't looked at the earnings calendar, haven't looked at the economic announcements calendar, just pure price action and looking at the correlating instruments. I see a weak market. Treasuries are actually down, and the dollar basket is flat, but again, just the way things move, I will say that at some point we will be below 2100 today, and at the moment we're at 2105, and I think we're going to struggle today. Not us, but the market in general is going to struggle today a little bit. I mean, maybe some big buy will come in and it'll run it up again, but I think there's a lot of exhaustion from what I can see. Yesterday I was fucking exhausted, and I'm sure the markets are exhausted, but not for the same reason. They made such a tremendous move. Today might be good, might not be. As I said, we'll make a little, we'll make a lot. Worst case, we'll make nothing. It's the way of the game. I don't like to set myself targets, because I think as soon as you set targets for yourself, you start to take on risks because you want to meet those targets. So whatever comes, comes. Whatever doesn't come, doesn't come. It's just the way it is, and it's, you know, over time, you know, this makes money. So I am looking forward to today as I do every day, and I guess I need to do the sheet now, and I'll catch you on Skype a bit later, Mr. A. See you later. Bye for now.